Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Shambam Podcast. That's right, I'm back with another one, and I have a guest. Cool, right? I've been really good at getting guests, but I haven't even let you talk, guys. I am joined today by Tyler.
Yeah, how's it going? My name's Tyler. I've been an old friend of Kevin and Josh.
Yes, you're very formal. This is what the military does to you.
Yeah, apparently.
Apparently. You know, Ranjo, when he came back the first time, I don't know, like, if I screw any of, like, the terminology up or, like, the dates that you... I don't... Because I think... When do you guys come back the first time after going in? You know what I'm saying?
So, come back after basic training.
Is it right after basic
Yeah,
training?
usually
you guys can,
okay. You get some time off from...
So, as soon as he finished basic... he came back and he chilled with Joe, right? When we were all living at home still.
Right.
And not to just throw shade at Ranjit or anything, but he was like he was acting super like serious, right? Like he was like a soldier still, you know? Mm-hmm. And then Joe was like, dude, loosen up, man. You're all serious right now. And he was like, oh, I don't know. This is what the Army does to you, man.
Yeah, you get basically told you can have to like eyes straight forward, sit straight, otherwise they're gonna.
Can you actually kind of relate to that, like
no,
how he was behaving, or do you think he was just being Ranjoed?
No, absolutely, that's how it is, because you go from like, you know, you're fresh out of high school, you kind of do whatever you want for the most part, then you go to like an environment where you're woken up at like 5 a.m., you're tossed out of bed, told to get online, and you gotta go do this amount of like physical exercise. You're like, oh, you screwed up on this, go ahead and do like, do push-ups till I'm tired.
Yeah.
And then even when like something as simple as like going to breakfast, you're standing in line behind someone else, but like you have a certain distance measurement. You have to like, put your arm up, and you can't be any more or less than that.
Yeah.
And you're like called up, you need to like sidestep when your trays. It's really just a very regimented lifestyle, at least in the early part of the Army. Later on, when you get to like actual unit, it's a lot more relaxed, and you tend to lose a lot of that. But definitely, when you come out of like the initial training,
because that's something like that's a breaking down period. I feel
right. It's the breaking down period, so they can actually like, get you used to like,
build you back up.
Yeah, build you back up.
Dang. That's
also
I stutter so much. Yeah, I've always known that that's how it is. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously I can't relate because I'm not in it and I haven't experienced that, but I can just kind of imagine just how that whole thing just, I get it. I kind of anxiety, but at the same time, that kind of feels a little, like it kind of gives you purpose in a way. Like you feel like you're doing something. Like they're waking you up early in the morning. You got to go do this and that. And you feel that, I don't know. I think I would feel like I'm becoming something. I don't know.
No, absolutely. It definitely is. I mean, it's a huge transition, like when you're in civilian to like the military, because civilian life, it's when you transition from the military back to civilian life, which I'm going to be doing here in the next year or so. Is
that when you're planning on, like?
Right, yeah, when I'm planning on getting out and I guess, going back to being a real boy again. And, yeah, no, it's, because the military, it tells you exactly what you need to do every single day of your life. You get up, you do this, you accomplish X amount of tasks, and you go home. And it's a lot different than just sort of like, okay, now I have to go make my own way now.
Right. It's definitely a lot. It provides that structure in your life.
Absolutely. There's a lot of structure for people that need that or can't always like find it for themselves, and it's a good deal for the most part.
Yeah. Was that your watch?
It was my watch.
How dare you? Big oof on that one.
I let someone borrow this one time, and they set it that way, and I can't figure out how to set it back because I threw away the instruction booklet.
There's too many buttons.
There's too many buttons.
Too many buttons.
My old G-Shock broke, and I bought this as a replacement, and I've hated every minute of it.
Really?
Yes, but I'm like too far in to actually trade it out now to anyone.
You're already in the commitment zone.
Right, I'm just going to wait till it breaks or dies on me.
There you go.
Just get a new one.
Like a real soldier.
Exactly.
Like a real soldier. If it's not broken,
it's still usable.
It's still usable.
Absolutely.
Guys, I should just mention right now, Adam and Joshua are in the background playing some dumb games. And Adam was rubbing the belly of a giant crocodile while staring at me when you were explaining your whole introductory part. And that was really weird, and I took everything in me not to chuckle. You know, Adam's like that. Adam will sometimes do this to you, like he'll open his eyes stupid wide for no reason. Like now, why, Adam?
It's really good that I can't see like behind.
Yeah,
you.
I know.
I'm taking everything you say like at face value. What's going on? But if I had a mirror, maybe I could just sort of like indulge in that. But
Yeah. So, guys, also another thing to point out: it is currently Wednesday.
my dudes.
It's Wednesday, my dudes. And this episode isn't going to be up till Monday. I promised y'all I was going to have an episode out by Monday. The only reason we're doing this right now is because I'm going to be up in Idaho for the weekend, so there's going to be no time. We're leaving tomorrow, by the way, so I still have to like pack up and get everything ready. I'm not getting tonight, but anyway, getting that out of the way. That's kind of I know a lot of like shows. There's certain shows that I watch that they'll like record like a lot of their episodes that they have like out. It's all scheduled and it's all been like pre-recorded like months ahead. Like there's this, have you seen Hot Ones?
That's the one they did the hot sauce challenge.
Yeah,
right?
the hot wings. The spicy wings, and they have to go through all like it's like a scale, and celebrities go on, they answer questions. That one, they brought up the fact it was like that day's upload like episode. I was watching it, and then they brought up the fact that it was like when they were. I was watching this in this month, December.
Yeah,
and he was saying, "Oh yeah, this is in September or something like that," and I was like, dang. I was like, that's September? How much more episodes do they already have out? I was like, am I lagging? Am I not there? Am I supposed to be doing that? It's actually, guys, I mean, I'm joking. It's actually January of 2018 right now. We're in January 5th in 2018, I think, right? Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
where we're at. So I'm super professional and I know what the industry does. So that's what I pattern my podcast over. So this is January. I couldn't express it more because that's what you got to do to seem professional. I don't know where I'm going with this either. So I don't know why I'm still talking.
Just gonna keep rolling with it.
Just gonna keep rolling with it. So you have, for those of you, I mean, I know, but for those listening who don't know, obviously our buddy, pal here, serving our nation. Thank you for your service, by the way. And you have a twin brother who is also did that. And one thing I heard, and I'm pretty sure it's true, but I wasn't sure exactly, was that he was doing PT with like a fractured foot.
Yeah, he actually was. I don't know the extent of the fracture. I mean, obviously he was able to heal from it, but
right.
Yeah, he was injured during his training, and he just sort of kept rolling with it. I think it was like some fractures in your feet, you can actually roll with it for the most part. It's not like in the your textbook you break like a long bone, for example, like your radius or your ulna, and it's like, oh, your arm is gonna cast.
Right.
With the foot, you can't. It's gonna be painful, but you can actually like go through that.
Yeah.
Should you? No, but I mean, you can, and obviously he did.
I broke my radius when I was a kid.
Oh wow,
That was the only bone I ever broke. But boy, did it hurt.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah. And it was almost a compound fracture.
Oh.
It was like my skin was out like that on the bottom part. This is the radius, right?
No, that's actually
Is that the ulna?
That's the ulna. The radius is like here. It's
I'm
the one
such
that's
an idiot. Oof on that one.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage to my credibility.
No, a good way
Catching me off guard with these soundboard stuff, I know.
Good rule of thumb for the radius and the ulna.
Is
radius,
this your thumb?
Yeah, you're
pointing
radical.
up with your
You're
thumb.
radical, and it's like radical, bro. And
That's radical, man.
the ulna is just, well, I don't know. It's just the ulna.
It's just the
really
ulna.
I don't know.
Radical just sounds, the radial, the radius sounds way cooler than the ulna. Ulna sounds like some sort of like Hungarian grandma.
Ulna.
This is Grandma Ulna.
No, I guess I don't even know what it is. Some Latin term, I would imagine, and I should know this. I'm a medic in the army, so you think I would
How
know
dare
what
you? How are you gonna heal? How are you gonna tend to the wounded without knowledge of
I don't need to know the
of the
etymology of the
origins
word. I just
of these
need to know
of these parts?
how to fix it. And
You need to know this to stop some bleeding. You know that,
of course,
of course. You need to provide some facts.
some facts and logic.
facts. Just heals.
That's a sound it makes too. It's a slurping sound. It's disturbing, really.
Oh man, it's like they practice wizardry. Wizardry. Is that how you would say it?
Wizardry?
Wizardry?
I guess. I mean,
I don't know. Like I've expressed to you, once I make up a word, I'm committing to it. I don't care if it's real or not. People generally know what I'm saying, though.
sounds about right.
I think that's how every language ever was created. It's just people just saying words. Why can't we add? Actually, they do add words, huh?
Yeah, I add words all the time.
But it's always like dumb slang that like millennials come up with.
Well, I
like,
mean,
selfie. It became a part of the dictionary, like when that was popular.
I mean, 50 years will probably have some strange, even stranger words in the dictionary. They'll make selfie look like a tame in comparison, like Victorian language. But
that's true. But like, I know that. I mean, why do I feel so queasy about saying this? A female dog. That's.
Right.
That was a proper term. Why is it? You know what I'm saying? Everybody, y'all know what I'm saying. Like, why? Who decided that that's like taboo and a cuss word now?
I would imagine because like it was probably used as like an insult to someone, and then just over time,
You're a female dog.
Well, I mean,
You're
right? You're that word without saying it over the air. Yeah, it's like the word for like a bundle of sticks, right? And something you could say,
that's
like,
true.
like
That's
you,
true.
You could use to denigrate someone who's like homosexual, for example.
Yeah,
It's
but
just,
why? Like, I don't know. Like, because if anybody else would use that as, I'm thinking about any like famous person who would actually use a word by its proper definition and then just get flagged for it. It's like, no, I'm using it. Like, if you read my post, you can tell that the context is there. But nowadays, they won't even look at the context and just see the word.
Yeah, they would just see the word and just beeline straight for that. But
Exactly.
I mean, if you have the context to back it up, at least someone's going to be on your side. But if you just straight up say, oh, they're this, that, and that, and they deserve this, it's a little harder to,
It is.
to sympathize with that.
This is all, guys, by the way, this is all information that's absolutely pointless. Whatever answer is right or wrong, it doesn't even matter. You're not going to do anything with it. It's not going to change your life. So this is just Kevin's mind overthinking crap. But hey, some people like it when I overthink things.
Hey, everyone has something.
Everyone has something, man. But so I feel like I don't want to pry too much about like your military career or anything, because I feel like it's all top secret for some reason. I don't know.
Not particularly, but
not particularly. Have you seen? I know this one question I've kind of had. Not like really prevalent. I don't think about this all the time, obviously. But, there was a time where, I don't know if it's so much now, but a lot of like veterans were complaining about how the military is becoming more soft. And I'm sure you've come across that topic with your
I've heard
time in there.
I'd like to preface this by saying, like, my personal opinion, they're my personal opinions. They don't reflect the views of the Department of the Army or the Department of Defense. That being said, I would argue that no, the military is not becoming soft, quote unquote. A lot of people like to say like, the country is becoming soft, generations, such. But if we look back in time, veterans from before, like say like the World War II compared to like the Vietnam generation.
Is it kind of like just like how old people hate millennials? Those darn millennials.
Millennials
is it kind of the same thing?
It's become like a catch-all term for pretty much anything you want it to be. It's sort of lost all of its meaning. And I saw this a lot when I was first coming in there. 5 odd years ago. It was the worst generation they'd ever seen. The Army's gone to heck in a handbasket, and it's all just gone. They couldn't wait to get out because it's so bad.
Yeah.
5 years later, and it's still there, and it's probably gonna be still there 5-10 years after I'm gone too. Yeah. So it's not that it's becoming soft. It's just like it's like the concept of what's the phrase I'm looking for?
This is what happens when the podcast goes up. It just steals words from your brain.
Right? It's just they're gone.
Yeah, they're just gone.
Survivorship bias. It's like we're getting like some Jungian psychology here. Basically, it stems from the idea that like you've come into the Army, let's say like 20 years ago, and you've been through like the major conflicts that happened. The Iraq War, Afghanistan, stuff like that. You've seen people come and go, and you're in the higher echelons. Like you're like maybe a sergeant first class, sergeant major, even first sergeant, what have you. And of course, naturally, everyone that only did a 4-year contract, or got out for whatever reason, they couldn't hack it, whatever. They're already gone. They've been gone for years and years and years. The only ones left over are people that actually had the drive and commitment to continue on with it.
Right.
And that's all you're going to see. You're not going to see the people that, smoked marijuana and got out, got a DUI or did some sort of horrible thing and got out. All you're going to see is the people that had the drive and determination that you had to succeed.
Yeah.
So it's going to cloud your judgment. You're going to basically see successful people in around, and you're going to be like, wow, so only my generation is successful because everyone my age is successful. We've all done this. We've all done that. And of course, you see the young people who are just coming in who, have they haven't been filtered out yet.
Right.
So you still see like the people that are going to cause trouble, people that are going to be into this. People they tend to forget that, and that's what I've noticed is I'm tapping on that.
No, it's fine.
It's fine. But they tend to forget that they don't remember the people that didn't make it, the excess. But they see the excess in the younger generation coming up, and they attribute the failures of the excess to the entire generation.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. So that definitely clarifies that. I mean, like I said, this is I'm representing everybody who has no idea.
Yeah, no,
all of us ignorance.
It's definitely a discussion like in the military, and one can argue the Army does suffer from a huge amount of like obesity, but that's really just America in general at this point.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue.
I never thought about that.
No,
Army's suffering from
the military is a reflection of the population, and the population in the United States is, for lack of a better term, fat. It's obese. I'm not exactly the skinniest guy in the world either.
Nor am I.
I could probably lose some weight too, but no, the Army does suffer from. I don't want to say suffer. Personnel within it do have weight issues, and that's actually been a chronic problem.
Yeah.
But you go back, almost 100 years ago, the Army suffered from underweight issues. So really, it's I wouldn't say it's like the end of the Army because people are fat. It's an issue that you can solve, but it's the way you go about it is the real question. People are just arguing over what's the best way to do it.
Yeah, that's the biggest. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing about it is how are we going to solve it? Because I feel like a lot of things that happen nowadays, people just jump into solutions too fast, and they see the repercussions of those solutions, like all the bad stuff that they didn't consider the first time.
Right, yeah. Like,
that's all the problems.
Let's just go, we'll just work out harder. But, you're carrying on 50 extra pounds of weight.
Exactly.
Or, 20 kilograms for those who use other systems.
The rest of the world.
The rest of the world, the rest of the sane world. You're going to cause injuries to your knees, to your shins. You're going to get shin splints. And
you got to know where you're at, honestly. I've done that too. Like, because I used to be way thinner than I am right now because I was like in track. I was doing sports all the time. And then when I graduated, my metabolism just died. It wasn't that actually I've been eating way less than I ever did ever since I graduated. So it's not even a problem of like eating for me. I think it was just my and I think this is what happened. I think my metabolism slowed down. Like it usually happens with people who graduate actually. And then I think since I was eating so like just so low, I guess. Yeah. My body like went into hibernation mode and then started just storing everything it could. Cause I was like not eating, like I would never eat breakfast. Breakfast was like not a part of my life in the whole like 2015, 16, and 17. Like I hadn't had breakfast.
Really?
Cause I would just wake up and go to work.
Oh, okay.
And I wouldn't eat till lunchtime. So that's what I would do. And so I knew, because I was like, what's wrong with me? Am I just not like, why am I getting all fat? Because I was like, I'm not eating at all. I knew the first thing was like, I'm not eating, and I don't even eat like junk food that much actually, as much as other people do. Like the only reason I eat the most junk food I've eaten is because Joshua loves junk food. She's like, Kevin, you want to go eat? Hey, it's true. It's true. So I don't even know how we got into this topic.
I don't know. It's a good topic though. I mean, it's relevant. It
is relevant. What was I gonna shoot? I did have something. I had another question. Oh yeah. So you were talking earlier about, and I mean I know about this, but a lot of people don't. That you sign military contracts, for like 4 years,
right?
Or whatever it may be. So is that like something? Because you're almost gonna be in there 6 years,
right?
Is that something that like you just renew whenever your time's coming up, or?
Yeah, there's a whole like Army regulation in regards to
Okay.
how to go about that. Generally, most contracts are 4 years. A lot of people sign out initially for 4 years. It does vary on what your job in the Army is going to
Yeah.
be. Whether you start off like a 3-year contract, I've seen 2-year contracts,
Yeah.
all the way up to like usually like a 6-year contract is the most you'll get for the initial. Generally, within like a certain window before you're called your end term of service date, so the date like you're officially separated from the Army.
Yeah.
You have like an 18-month window where you can go ahead and what's called re-enlist.
Yeah.
Let's say like for like me for example, I re-enlisted when I was 3 years in for a 2-year extension on the 4-year contract.
Okay.
So
that's what.
it ripped up the essentially kind of replaced the old contract. It added 3 years, but really only 2 years on to what I would have been doing originally. So
Yeah.
total for 6 years and then some change afterwards.
Yeah. So did Connor also do a 4-year?
Yeah, he did a 4-year contract and he
Okay.
was out after that.
Right. Yeah. Figure. I was just doing the math in my head, like you said. Like he was out like about a year and a half ago or something. How's he doing? Actually, I haven't heard from any like both of y'all for like ever.
Yeah,
I don't
no.
think we have like each other on socials or anything. I think my main my main knowledge of you guys was just through Joe.
Pretty much, yeah.
You still talk to Joe at all?
I haven't talked to him in a while. I got her on my Facebook a little while ago
Yeah.
because it was toxic, but
Because it was what?
it was toxic.
Yeah, it is.
It's
honestly,
going on there was just so many ads and just
Yeah.
spam.
it's gotten better.
Really? Oh, I'm glad.
It's
Still not gonna
cleared
go back
up.
on it, but
I still never get on it, but like very few times I do, like I can actually see my friends' posts and stuff, and hardly any ads.
okay. Yeah, maybe I should have given another shot.
They've
But
cleared up their act.
sorry, it's probably too late
But,
now.
But yeah, how's Connor doing actually?
But it's pretty good. He's actually going for nursing of all things in Colorado Springs in
Nursing.
Colorado.
All right, wasn't he a ranger?
No, he never was.
Never was?
He was an infantryman, but he was
Okay.
never a ranger.
Okay, but he tried it out. Well, he tried to
Oh,
get to.
I
I thought that's what I heard, that he was trying to be an army ranger.
I think he was. I don't remember what. I don't actually never asked him about it. I don't remember what like the reasoning for it was. I think it's like a class date was like screwed up or something along those lines. There's some sort of like administrative thing that and he just never
Okay.
really pursued it afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people have like lofty ideals when they get into the army.
Yeah.
When you get to your first unit, it's sort
Yeah.
of just like, oh wow, well.
It's of course. I mean I feel like that's kind of what happens with anything that.
Yeah, it's
people
like
do.
anything in life, really.
Yeah, anything in life, you always are like aiming big, and then
Start to set more realistic expectations for yourself.
that's what happens. I feel like that's what kills a lot of like startups and businesses. Because
Yeah.
they just expect maybe not expect, but they hope for like maybe faster growth or whatever.
Right.
I know like the biggest thing, I guess the biggest problem, or at least the one that's most talked about, so I just automatically generalize that it's the biggest problem in businesses, like startups, is that people try to make profit real early. That they're expecting income from whatever business they have real early, and that's why they give up on it, because it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
It just
like-
doesn't happen. You have to invest in whatever you're trying to start up for years. Like I think they said it was like you gotta wait at least 2 years and be like persistently active on your business before you can even expect to see some income.
Yeah,
Sounds
and most
like-
people aren't willing to go
Yeah.
for that amount of time.
That's when you get the people who are really just like in it for the money, and the people who are doing it for their passion.
Yeah.
That's when you see the divide. Because honestly, I really like this. What I got going on here, this little business. I don't know what that was.
I don't know either.
That was very creepy, and I apologize. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, yeah, kind of how we were going back and forth about the army and stuff, and how they have lofty ideals.
Yeah, then
It's a business, and it's in everything you do. So guys, just remember, if you're not doing what you're doing because you really want to do it, you should probably not do it. You know, in terms of this kind of stuff.
words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom coming from a 22-year-old, just for your ears. I always sell myself for short, I guess, because I feel like, and everybody who has common sense and any kind of experience in life, they can all have something to like say. You know what I'm saying, to
Right.
input. But I always like tell myself in like these situations, like, who am I to talk? I'm 22. Like I haven't even experienced like life, honestly. But when I think about it, I was like, well, I've lived way more places than tons of people already have.
Right.
I've just gone through a lot of crap in my life, and so has a lot of other people. I just feel like everybody has some insight. I'm being very PC friendly right now, aren't I? Everyone's so good. We're all so powerful.
Special.
Special. No. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just kind of like I work with a ton of like old people. I feel bad
For
saying
lack
it,
of a better
but
term.
yeah, for lack of a better. Well, they're all older. They're substantially older than me. I think the person who's closest to my age is I think he's 17 years older than I am.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
It's a significant age gap.
yeah. So there's definitely like older people all over around because I work in an office now. I'm a programmer. If you didn't know that, and I don't know. I feel like ever since working with it, because I actually talk to them. I don't even see them like as just these older coworkers. I talk to them like any other person.
Right.
Like I know, like one of the podcasts, man. They just steal vocabulary as soon as it starts. It just goes into the bank, my word bank in my brain, and just like, let's take all this stuff out so he sounds like an idiot. But one of my coworkers, the one who I talk to the most, he's 60 actually. And I just talk to him like, hey man, what's up, dude? Like I just call him dude, and he's like, hey, what's up? It's just like super weird how like, and I feel like ever since I got like that job and I just started like talking to them, and they actually like whenever I provide insight to like problems or solutions to problems, and they actually take me seriously, then do that and it works, I feel like I got some stuff to say. You can pay attention to what I say every now and then. But anyway, honestly, I don't even know where I was going with this. That's usually what happens.
I could caveat with that actually. I had a similar experience in my first, I guess, like unit, whatever you call it. I worked at a hospital in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And if you want to see people that are stuck in their ways, join the medical field, because you'll have people with the most insane biases. I mean, great people. I mean, don't get me wrong. These people are like fantastic. They're great at their jobs. You know, they truly care about like the patients they're treating. But man, set in their ways is an understatement.
Really?
See, people like graduated like nursing school in like 1980s. I mean, this decades before even I was born. So, trying to like get through to them on not only topics of like medicine, but just like everyday life topics is like a challenge and a half.
Because they're like, no, I know what I'm doing.
Right,
no, I know
right.
what I know. That
And-
kind of thing. Yeah. They're so dialed in.
It goes back to my whole earlier spiel on selection bias, where they would talk about. They would say, though, the generation of kids growing up are like the sickest they've ever seen. I mean, of course they're going to be sick. We're in an emergency room. I mean, you're not going to see the healthy people. They're not here. They're out there. But I don't think it's like a thing with old. Like we're all susceptible to that. I mean, I'm sure we're old.
Even I find myself nowadays complaining about all the youth in high school that I see, like doing dumb stuff.
Like you see someone do a Fortnite dance in the middle of class, and you're just like, "Oh, I'm glad I wasn't
these
like it."
darn millennials.
Wait
a minute, I'm a millennial.
You're like, wait a minute, what am I then?
Aren't they Generation X now? Actually,
Generation Z, I think. Generation X is the one from the 80s. Yeah, it's like
wait, 80s is X.
Yeah, Generation X is the 80s. Millennials came like somewhat after them. And we're like the 90s to like 1999, I think, is the cutoff point. I've seen like different cutoff points.
Yeah, everybody has like a.
Yeah, honestly, like if I was really gonna do it, and I kind of hate to bring up some sad stuff, but I think anything after 9/11 should be in its own generational category. Because that's sort of like when things were. It's like kind of separated like two realities, really.
Right. Yeah.
Of like like pre still like the 20th century, 1990, still like the 1990s. To the 21st century, for good or worse. It's computers, smartphones, and then just everything that's happened since then. And it's
what defines the like generations though?
I've heard generally 20 years.
20 years,
a rule of thumb, but honestly, it's pretty. Your mileage is gonna vary pretty heavily based off of like what you're trying to compare, like what country, socioeconomic like status, the income levels, the demographics, especially. I mean, I hate to bring up like a race argument, but like a white demographic can be like a European white demographic can be different like an African American demographic in terms of which generation is going to be.
No, of course.
And it's really, I mean, generation's like a very good like general catch-all. Mm-hmm. So I mean, they call it's generalized for a reason, generation.
Right.
But,
Okay.
yeah, I've never wanted to ascribe to generation too much. Though. I mean, I'm a millennial myself, but I've never really felt like I was a millennial. Maybe it's just because it's having so many negative connotations to it.
I know, right? That's all you see in like the comedy bits, like those darn millennials.
What industry
Those
do they kill
millennials.
this time? It's
Those
like
millennials. That's like the most overused like generation for like idiocracy. In
oh my
opinion.
gosh, yeah,
It's always used for like somebody being stupid. Oh, look at the millennials.
yeah. I don't understand. They always
don't
pick
know.
like the worst examples. For
I know. Do you feel like I talk about this in my other podcast? And well, not my other podcast, because I only have one. My other episode is kind of in this topic. I don't know. It just made me think about it. Like, I always thought that I grew up like way faster than my peers in terms of like people in my immediate friend group. Like Adam, see, he's still a child.
Of course.
He's big baby, needs to be fed, you know. And here I am, you know, independently living, man. I'm not, and I don't like go to parties and all that junk. I think it's junk, that's just my personal opinion. I feel like it's a waste of time and a dangerous position to put yourself in. Those wild like house parties. I've been invited to plenty, but I'm just like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, kids, if you're listening, don't go to those.
Yeah, don't go to those. They're stupid. They're stupid. Listen to the Champagne podcast instead. that's a great
Stay
alternative. You'll get the exhilaration you want right here.
Play Fortnite.
Strap in. We're about to go over the ABCs. No, but like where all my other friends, like in college and stuff, they're all like going out, just messing around, doing this and that. You know, I was here worried about like, okay, I need a good credit score. So let's get a credit card right now. Only use it for emergencies. I gotta build a budget. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna live.
I
I'm
gotta
gonna
play
lay
401k. I gotta for retirement.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I was like, I gotta worry about. I need to get my health insurance covered too.
Oh, yeah.
Auto insurance. Yeah. And that's how I was always like. As soon as I graduated, I was like, all right, what's the next step? What do I need to do? I wasn't messing around. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Which I think was a blessing. So I mean, for a period of time, I thought it was like a blessing and a curse because I was like, I'm not really ever gonna like live my 20s. You know how everybody says like, you gotta live your life, man. You're only gonna be 20 for so long.
Thank God.
Yeah, I know. I'm an idiot. Like straight up. Like I look back in the past and. Did you ever have those thoughts like when you were a kid, like maybe you're like 16 or whatever, you're like, man, I don't want to get older. Like I wish I was just like this. I look like this. I stay like this forever. Was that just me?
No, I was fat and ugly, so definitely not. Now I'm just ugly, so I'm okay with this.
You're so. Oh man. No, I was always like, I didn't want to like grow up. I guess that was such a teenager statement right there too.
Yeah,
I don't want to grow up.
This will
It's like
never end. The
freaking-
summer is gonna be endless.
Summer is endless.
Yeah, then you realize like, whatever.
Oh man, that makes me I go on so many tangents, but I guess I'll just finish this thought right now. But I don't know. I was always like, I don't know. I always like thought about that, but now I'm like, thank goodness I grew up. I was such an idiot. Like I was so naive about so many things when I was a kid. But that made me think. Now going into this one, those like what are like I guess punk rock bands or whatever that they're all, those are the guys that were singing about the let's have summer all forever and all this stuff and being like young and dumb. I'm like, how are you that? Because like those dudes were like in their late 20s maybe when they were popular. Some of them actually younger, but even nowadays, I don't know, you probably know some 41. They're still in that phase. They have never left it. They still are in the whole being young and dumb and partying. I wonder
how much of it is just like some 41, for example, if they're just like they truly believe that, or they've marketed themselves as that, and now they're kind of like they're in a rock,
can't
like
leave.
a rock and a hard. They can't leave. They can't stop partying. I mean, it's like,
well, then just be like I don't know, because like there's been plenty of other bands who have been able to like evolve from that, you know. Like take for example, I mean, you know what?
I mean, heck, the Beatles did that. They started off as like, you know, essentially like a boy band,
right?
And they turned it into like a, you know, experimental rock group.
Yeah, and now they're just like in a ton of like motivational videos.
Well, yeah, I mean, the two that are left alive, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Actually, I'm thinking about punk rock bands that like were able to bring, but like kind of like Linkin Park, say, like they had their certain thing, but then they kept changing it up.
Yeah.
Like prayer, like every album they had, it was like different, and it just kept changing and changing and changing.
You can only like go on angst for so long. I mean,
Right.
And angst is like okay up until like 35, and then boom, you're like someone's dad's age,
Yeah.
and then it just seems awkward and weird.
Like freaking what happened to Simple Plan?
Yeah, then you're like looking like the dude from Smash Mouth just up on stage wearing
yeah.
like you're 40 years old and you're fat
dude.
and wearing like
no, Sum 41, Derek Weaver, I think that's his last name. He's got a beer belly and everything.
Oh,
he
man.
looks like he's just straight up having a midlife crisis.
It's terrible.
Like it's such a sad sight.
can't sing a song about how
can't.
much like your parents don't understand you when you're in,
It's so sad.
you're in your 40s. Can't do that.
He's like still living with them. That's why you can relate still. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. But yeah, I always thought, I was like, that's so like, I'm 22 and I even think all that's garbage now. You know,
Yeah,
like that
it's-
whole like, oh, it's parents, it's all about us, the young kids, and we know whatever, we rule the world. I've never been that
Yeah,
way.
I started away from that when I first got my paycheck, and like, oh man, the taxes, like,
Oh yeah.
pay for stuff. Like, dang.
Then you got thrown into the real world real quick. That's what I kept telling people that were like still in high school. As soon as I graduated, I had a job. Like as soon as I graduated, I got a job. And then I had just had like payments and all this other stuff, and I just felt like I was thrown into the real world like super quick. Like high school doesn't prepare you for the real world. In all
Oh, no,
honesty.
not at all.
Not at all. And I feel like that's something that really needs to be like corrected, because you learn so much, or they cover so much other unnecessary garbage that you don't even take with you in college. Like in
Yeah.
all honesty, like if you're trying to go that route, like that's what I've seen. And because even when you go to college, they have you take a ton of these core classes anyway.
Yeah.
So like you're still doing all this in college, so you're gonna have your refresher or whatever in college, but they don't teach you anything about life.
Yeah,
at all.
There's like apparently there was an argument. I guess some high schools, you know, I hate to use the term back in the day, but back in the day, I'm
Yeah.
gonna use it. They would teach more towards like the life skills.
Yeah.
your home economics, balance a checkbook. For those that don't know, people used to write checks back in
Yeah,
the day,
yeah.
and it was a little signature and an amount that you would promise to pay.
Yeah.
They used to do that. Not anymore. Just budget cuts, and just schools tend to focus on like your 3 R's: your reading, writing, and arithmetic. So your mathematics, language arts, and then reading comprehension.
Yeah.
I kind of understand. I'm not trying to blame schools for anything, because I think they're already overstressed as is, and
Yeah.
they only have so much time, 4 years that they're with students in high
That's
school.
true. I
So
see that.
they have to fit as much into possible, and still get as much people to graduate as possible.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess I think they should incorporate more like actual life classes
oh yeah,
to where they actually teach you about life and have that be mandatory.
I mean,
because that will give like high schoolers at least like make it mandatory like junior year or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they can actually start getting into that phase of, okay, pretty soon I'm gonna get thrown into this jungle and I don't know what to do. It'll give them an idea. I was like, okay, so when y'all graduate, you're gonna have options, right? Because I feel like the big narrative in high school was we would have a ton of like those college prep classes where it was all about, all right, this is how you're gonna build your class schedules and all that. Not even classes. They would have like certain certain days where they would be like, oh, this whole class, English class, go to the library, and then we're gonna do this like college thing. And it was all about going to college, but not everybody was going to college. A lot of people were just working or going to the military,
Right.
or didn't know what to do, but they knew that college, they probably weren't going to do that, So I just feel like there should have been like some sort of like other like class or something in place where they can teach the students, all right, you're going to have a ton of options, you're going to have all these jobs. This is like kind of or even like explain like this is how much you're going to get paid generally speaking if you don't have a college degree. And some people are like, I'm chill with that, I don't need to go to college. Or if some of them like saying, if you want to get this job or these kinds of jobs, you got, I don't even know what I'm talking about right now, guys. I'm just a guy. But that's what I kind of thought. I thought they should have more like life preparation classes,
right.
instead of like calculus
Yeah, there's
high school. I don't know.
There are some like programs that are like that. They're not necessarily through like the schools,
But
the
there
government.
was some, yeah. I
there was-
actually was in like one actually. But anyway, sorry I cut you off.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I did one in my junior year of high school. It's the Youth Conservation Corps. It's kind of like an offshoot of like the Civilian Conservation Corps that was built or started during the Depression to kind of keep people working and do like public works projects. Kind of similar to the sort of what you're talking about. It sort of gets you prepared for like the working world. I mean, for paychecks and then sort of like having more of a regimented lifestyle.
Yeah.
It worked for me definitely, along with the military itself.
Yeah.
I think
That's why I like the military a lot because, like, a lot of kids who are just clueless, like, I know a lot of them will just go to the military.
Right.
Like, they're just like, I got to do something. I'm going to the army. I'm going, whatever. But then after they do that and they stick with that, they that provides them a structure because the army teaches you so much about life. I don't think a lot of people understand that because I've seen it with like other friends who've gone and they come back and they're just like. They kind of have it together. You know?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, your mind is kind of clear. Like you can see stuff like clear. So that's why I really do like the military too. Like how you said, like the military really helped you out too with that. But did I cut you off again?
no, it's fine.
I'm notorious for that, by the way.
It's okay.
But anyway, we're probably gonna wrap it up here. Oh, like solid 41 minutes.
Oh, wow, that's good.
Kind of passed by, huh?
Yeah, I did. Wow.
It flies by faster than you would think. Yeah, a lot of people are like, it's gonna be an hour. We're like 40 minutes.
An hour
It's
of
like, dude,
talking.
It'll be
So
fine.
much.
People do it all the time if you think about it. When you're hanging out with your friends and you're hanging out for like hours on end.
Well, I mean,
That's that's 2 podcast sessions you just did.
maybe not. In this day and age, no emojis were had. So.
Yeah.
Hashtag millennials. Just kidding.
Anyway, man, thanks for joining us on this episode.
Hey, thanks
it was
for
a
having me.
very like last minute, huh? Adam like told you. I didn't even know that you were gonna be a part of the podcast until like today.
I didn't even know you had a podcast.
I know. Lots of people. I'm trying to figure out a way to like try to get more ears on the or like people to see it. That Kevin has a podcast, but it's really the marketing part. I'm taking a marketing class to try to actually figure this thing out professionally. But anyway, thank you though. Thank you for coming by. Do you have any social media? I don't think you do.
I have
to plug
actually
in?
Twitter and Instagram.
Okay, you want to plug those? Or not really?
It's my own personal Twitter and Instagram. If you want to see
Okay.
like some old pictures of hiking from a year and a half ago, go ahead. By all means, go ahead and follow me. It's Tyler Joseph 776 for my Twitter. I don't remember what my Instagram is. I'll just go on it. But yeah, if you want to see old pictures of me and my wife and maybe my dog occasionally, by all means, please follow me. I'll
Alrighty.
follow you back.
All right, man. Thanks, guys. We are concluding. I already said that. I don't even need to say that because they know.
Reconcluding.
But I was actually going to say have a Merry Christmas because when this is up, it's going to be Christmas Eve. So hope you guys all have a wonderful Christmas. I hate when people just try to dub it holidays and everything that now.
Yeah, it's inclusive, I guess.
Yeah,
Christmas
I don't
is
know.
fine.
I just feel like everyone's trying to just not destroy, but like delete it. I'm not so like against the whole, you can say holiday if that's what you'd prefer, but when they just try to delete it, like kind of just, all right, now businesses, you can't say Christmas. You have to say holidays and this, you can't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah, I just say Merry Christmas because I hate alliteration, so.
Yeah.
H.
You hate alliteration.
Yep. I demand 2 different sounds at the beginning of my words.
You kind of sound like Jordan Schlansky. Have you seen the Conan O'Brien show?
Yes, I have actually.
Yeah, Jordan, like that is like his assistant. I forget what he is.
You mean Andy Richter or?
No, Jordan Schlansky.
okay.
He's like, you should look him up.
Okay, I have to look him up.
That was such a Jordan Schlansky sentence you just said. Anyway, I already concluded this, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch it next time Wednesday, so stay tuned. See ya.